Hi guys, welcome back. Today I am super excited, a little nervous, but excited nonetheless because I'm going to be following a Scott Burns makeup tutorial that he did on Tati. So Tati uploaded this video about a year ago and I loved it. I loved seeing how he did her makeup because it is so different than anything that I've ever seen before, and it's completely different than how I do my makeup. So I've seen this video going around where a lot of people recreate what he did on Tati using different products, different tools, so I thought, why not do that as well? A couple of you guys wanted to see this and you wanted me to use drugstore and affordable makeup, so here we are. Of course, I'm just having fun. I'm not a professional. He's JLo's makeup artist, so he is a professional. So it might not look exactly the same, but we're just here to play with makeup and to have a good time. So I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna be here for a while. I can feel it. So definitely grab a snack and let's get into it.
Okay, so I'm gonna use all-nighter, right? What I like to do with this is to bring it in, and you just use it to like eliminate stuff. And I'm gonna go in ham, like I'm gonna use makeup. Like I'm not gonna pretend.
You don't use primer?
For what? I don't really.
For what?
I don't really need it.
To fill everything in. Wow, this is a look.
I like the contouring and everything to do the work underneath the foundation so you don't see it. Now, this is everybody's like, where do I contour? So this is always the question, right? So I bring the light right all the way up to the edge. Really? And sometimes you see really bad nose contour and it looks like they're behind bars. Okay, couple brushes. Let's talk about brushes for a second. If we're gonna talk about Jennifer, Jennifer calls this a cat paw.
Oh.
Because she goes, look, it's like a cat paw.
Okay, so he's using all-nighter concealer. I'm using CoverGirl True Blend today. This one is in the shade Buff Beige. It's a little bit light, but I think it can work. I love this concealer because it is super creamy, but it gives you really great coverage, and I thought since like today we're using a lot of it, it would be like the perfect formula, so let's go with it. So it looks like he just went in with bare skin, no primer. As you heard, he doesn't use primer. And I always use primer. There are days when like I'm lazy, honestly, I won't use primer, but I do like primer. I have quite a few favorites. Let me know down below if you guys use primer or do you like not believe in it. I have heard a couple people recently say that like they just don't like primer or they don't feel like it does anything. Let me know, I'm curious. The only thing I have on my face right now is moisturizer from earlier, from when I did my morning skincare, and like SPF. Right here. Right here, and then on the forehead. We have like some street lanes right here on the forehead. Or like a little tree. So typically I always use a sponge, but he's using like a flat foundation brush. I have this one from Royal & Langnickel. I usually use brushes like this to apply face masks, but we're gonna go with it and just kind of see what happens. And this brand, by the way, you can get it at Walmart. They have really, really great affordable brushes. I feel like using brushes like this sometimes takes a little bit longer to blend, but we'll see. Maybe I'll go over it with a sponge just to make sure everything looks really seamless, but we'll see. So I didn't really see too much of what he did with the nose, so I'm gonna kind of just blend this out a little bit because I don't want to let the concealer sit too long, because then I feel like it's just gonna be a little bit harder to blend. So I'm just gonna blend that out like that, and then we'll kind of see what happens.
All right, jaws. We're gonna come in with the jaws of life.
Okay, it looks like he went in with a really, really sharp brush, which I don't have a brush exactly like that, but I have this one from Sigma. It's their 3D HD Max Kabuki brush, which is what I'm gonna use because it's like what I have that's closest to what he used. And then for the cream contour, I'm gonna use this e.l.f. cream contour palette. I've actually used this before, like a long time ago, and I just repurchased it because, you know, I wanted to test it out again for this video. So we are gonna use this today. There's me. Okay, let me stop. I'm gonna take these three colors right here and I'm gonna just mix them and hope for the best. Looks like he went like right under here. Like all under here, which I need this because I've been in the house just like eating. Like I can't stop.
This is where people really mess up with contouring. They over contour and then they drag all this brown into the nose and into the side of the face.
And then they just face tint it later.
Okay, so hopefully we can blend this out. I'm hoping that the formula is really creamy of this e.l.f. palette. I don't really remember what it's like, but I'm gonna use a Sigma flat definer brush for contouring the nose just because it looks like he got really, really precise with her nose. So I'm gonna be really, really precise with my nose too. And of course I'm gonna just dive into these colors, just kind of mixing all of them and going with it. Oh gosh, this doesn't look good. He went like skinnier, like tighter. I can't do that.
Now the trick to having a fuller lip is not overlining it to death.
Okay, and then he also did the lips. Okay, now we are gonna blend, so let's do it. I'm gonna use the same brush. So you see how this is looking a little crazy? He mentioned that he's using a foundation to kind of blend some of this out. I know I'm doing this a little bit like all over the place, but we are just gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna use the NYX Born to Glow foundation to blend out a little bit more of the contour. This one's in the shade Medium Olive. I love this foundation. It's really, really pretty, great for every day. I'm gonna just put some right on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Selfie Ready Stipple brush, and I'm gonna kind of start blending a little bit of this out.
Use a little bit of lighter foundation because we don't want to take away the contouring.
So I'm basically using a little bit, like I used the tiniest bit of the NYX foundation, and I'm kind of like using it to clean up any edges and just make it look as seamless as possible, because when I first applied the contour it looked crazy and not good at all. So this really did help to blend it. And I'm gonna add a little bit more contour because I feel like I kind of blended a little too much and I want to be nice and bronzy. I also did add some to my chest, as you saw, because Tati is like extra bronzy, and like, I mean, I want to be extra bronzy too. And I feel like with a shirt like this, like you need to add something to the chest. I usually don't add cream products to the rest of my body. I don't know, I don't love to do that. So I usually just put bronzer all over my chest, but this product is actually blending out pretty nicely, to be honest. I'm like very impressed with the e.l.f. product. At first I was a little nervous, but I feel like it's coming together. Like, I think this looks really good. Very bronzy, very like, just like he said, it's natural. I don't know about the nose. I think the nose I kind of messed up, but I'm using the same brush that I used for foundation to like blend out the lips a little bit. You kind of just like went over the lips. I'm gonna get the ears too with this Sigma brush, because sometimes I forget to put product on my ears and they look really white and I'm like, eeh. So let's get to these. Honestly, I think everything so far is looking really good. I'm actually impressed at how well the e.l.f. palette is blending out. At first I was so nervous because of how I applied it, but I think it's coming along. Hopefully the nose turns out good. So I didn't really see what he did as far as her nose, so I'm gonna just blend this out with a ColourPop F12 brush, which is kind of like an angled concealer brush. I actually use this whenever I contour my nose. I usually just use powder typically, but I'm gonna just kind of blend this out. Okay, Okay, so he's using some translucent powder. I'm gonna use this one from ColourPop. It's the No Filter Setting Powder, and this one is in translucent. I wanted to use this just because they do have a great variety of different translucent shades for a lot of different skin tones, which I love. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna use a brush to really press that down. I'm gonna use this highlighting brush. I actually got this, I believe, from Rite Aid. It's like just a traditional, like little powder brush. I really like it for under the eyes. I think it fits perfectly under there.
Okay, powder.
What powder are you using? You're using your powder.
I'm using Petal. She's a little translucent with a tiny tinge of pink in her. And what that does is cancels out any kind of like little bluey, purpley stuff underneath the eye.
Okay, so he didn't mention setting the bronzer or anything, but I'm going to just add a little bit just because I want to make sure that the cream is nice and set. I mean, I did dust a little translucent powder on it, but I'm going to do a little bit of powder bronzer. I'm using this one from Milani, one of my favorites, the Silky Matte Bronzing Powder. This is good because it's matte, so it's great for contouring. I'm going to use a Profusion powder brush. I got this brush, I think, from like TJ Maxx. So good. And I'm just basically going to go over where I did the cream bronze. This is a really, really creamy bronzer. I love it. And they have different shades as well, but it is so nice. It's not muddy and it's really, really good. So I'm gonna put bronzer even on this area and like all over my chest just because I did use creams over there. Whew. I am extra bronze, and then you look at my hands and they're like so white. I'm also going to set the sides of my nose. I'm gonna use that same Milani bronzer, and I'm gonna kind of emphasize that contour a little bit. I don't think I did a good job on the nose, but I did my best. I've never been good at nose contouring. I prefer to do it with a powder. I just feel like for me and my nose, it just kind of works better. But the brush that I used is the Luxie Large Shader Brush. And then to blend it out, I used a Shop Miss A blending brush. I'm gonna set my brows really quickly since I'm here before I forget. I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Brow Wow Tinted Brow Gel. I know he did her brows with powder, but I always have to start off with my brows first. Like, it's just like my ritual, so I just did them off camera. I'll leave what I used down below. I was really nervous, but it's coming along, if I do say so myself.
Society.
Ooh, highlight.
Some stuff, and they're
okay,
like
so I'm using the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter Palette. So Essence you can get at Ulta, and I've also seen it at CVS, which is amazing. I love Essence. I've actually never used this highlighter before, this highlighting palette, but I thought it was perfect just because it has different colors in here. And he used a really big brush. I don't have a brush like that, so I'm going to use this one from Shop Miss A. It's like a contour brush, but I feel like for highlight, it's like the closest thing that I have to what he's using. So I'm just going to mix these colors right here.
Love that.
See?
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, she's gorge. And I'm like one of those people, I just kind of mash everything together.
I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, okay.
So this palette's cute. It's actually more of like a soft glow. It's not really, really beaming. And I like it. I feel like Tati is a little bit more glowy though, so I'm gonna get something that's a little bit more intense just because that's the kind of vibe that she has going on and I want that, so hold on. Okay, let's do a little Catrice and Iman highlighting palette. This palette is gorge, like absolutely incredible. Clearly I've used it up. This is great. This is a little bit more intense. This is a really pretty like everyday soft glow palette. This is a little bit more buttery, so this is what we're gonna use. And I'm basically gonna do what Scott did. And I'm gonna mix and I'm gonna apply. Oh, see, it's a little bit more intense. He also did some down the bridge of the nose, so I'm gonna do that as well. I'm using like a smaller brush to like concentrate the highlight a little bit more, which I usually don't do. This one is from ColourPop. Doesn't have a name on it or a number, because it's like super old, but it's just like a small little like pointy shader brush. Oh, okay, he did set the bronzer and he used some bronzer. It almost looks like a bronzer blush kind of thing, like a bronzy blush. So I'm gonna use one of my favorite bronzy blushes. This is the Burts Bees Toasted Cinnamon. And I feel like for this look, it is perfection because it's like that peachy kind of bronze. That's what I'm going to apply. And I'm gonna kind of apply this upwards. I don't have a brush like how he does, so I'm just using this duo fiber brush. This one is from TJ Maxx, and I'm just kind of like flicking it upwards and blending it towards the highlight and the bronzer that we have going on. Okay, so he's doing lip liner now. I'm gonna use the, which one do I wanna do? Let's do LA Girl, Perfect Precision Lip Liner. These are amazing. They're like $3. These and the NYX ones are really great. This one's in the shade Bear. Basically gonna follow along with like the contour thing that I did on the lips. So he is doing a gloss, and I'm gonna do a gloss. This is one of my favorite drugstore lip glosses. It's only $3 and it's the best clear lip gloss I've ever used in my life. This is the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Gloss, and this one in particular is in the shade Behind the Scenes, which is just clear. Mine doesn't look clear, clearly, because I layer this on top of a lot of my nude liquid lip colors, but it's a clear gloss. So I'm gonna just put this on over top. He didn't do like a lipstick or anything. Should I do a little lipstick? Or should I just do this? Let's do a little lipstick, a little bit. I'm gonna do a little bit of the NYX Shout Loud lipstick. This one's in the shade A La Mode. And I'm gonna just take this color and kind of just dab it in just a little bit right in the center. So creamy. And now I'm gonna do the gloss. These also smell amazing. Essence glosses. Look at that. Look how wet and juicy your lips look. Like, obsessed. So he did this, or he kind of like flicked the gloss upwards.
Tip alert. Feel what I'm doing? Going out to the edge. Not I'm taking it and out into the
So I'm just going to take more of the Catrice and Iman highlighter, and I'm going to just put this right on my chest for some glow. Some more glow. Because Tati, she is like, whew. Super glow. Like if she was a superhero, she would be super glow. Okay, he moved into eyeshadow right now. So I have been loving these little e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow palettes. These are $3, you guys, and they are everything that you need in an eyeshadow palette and more. So this one's in the shade Truffles, and it looks like he went in with a pretty dark brown. So I'm gonna use these two browns right here, right in my crease. I also have the shade Pumpkin Pie here, which this one's a little bit more warm, but I feel like the other one would be more appropriate because it's a little bit darker. So we're gonna use Truffles. And I'm just gonna blend that right in my crease.
So what I do with this, just so you guys can, I don't know if you can see this or if it helps, I almost work it in a circle. Now, still one color. I just want to keep reminding everybody.
Okay, I know this doesn't look blended. It's because I used a brush that I typically wouldn't use to blend out colors in the crease, but it looked like he used a brush like this. So I'm like trying to improvise over here. He went over with a lid shade anyway, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna go into, this obviously isn't gonna look exactly like hers, but I'm gonna go into the Pumpkin Pie palette. It looks like it's kind of shimmery, kind of matte. I'm gonna take these two colors right here. I gotta blend out this brow bone highlight clearly too. I did a little too much, like Jasmine. Calm down. For mascara, I'm gonna use the Essence Lash Princess, which is my favorite, or one of my favorites. And really quick, I'm gonna do a little bit more powder, and I'm gonna use the ColourPop No Filter Sheer Press Powder. This one's just in the shade Medium. Just looks like this, and it looks like he used a little bit more powder just to kind of blend everything upwards a little bit. Looks like he worked upwards, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna do lashes and then I'll be right back. I love this look. I love the way everything looks. I think it looks really good. It doesn't feel as heavy as what you would think. Like I thought my face was gonna feel really heavy and cakey, but it feels really good. I think it looks super smooth and flawless. Like I'm obsessed with this. I don't know if this is something that I would necessarily do, like obviously for like an everyday makeup look, but I think for like a super special event, I really like a lot of the techniques and the way that it looks on the skin. I think is just really flawless. And these drugstore products though, like I'm impressed. I mean, clearly I used a lot of the products before, but I was a little hesitant about the e.l.f. contour palette because when I first applied it, I was like, ooh, I don't know how this is gonna turn out because I haven't used that palette in so long, but I think it blended out and it turned out really beautiful on the skin. So 10 out of 10 recommend, and I love the fact that everything is drugstore and affordable, because if you guys want to recreate this or you want to just try out some products that are like the bomb diggity, you can do that without breaking the bank. I did apply some falsies. I used these from Target. These are the Lashes for Days lashes. I'm gonna try to find these and link them for you guys, but the ones that I'm wearing are very similar to the Allure number 126. They're honestly almost identical. They're just very wispy. They're not too long. They just like really open up your eyes, which I love. By the way, I did just pop off all of my nails. I'm missing these two, and I gotta work on this hand because like what else is there to do? Anyways, I also did apply a little bit of black eyeshadow from the Truffles palette from e.l.f. just right on the lower lashes. I didn't do any eyeliner or anything on the waterline just because he didn't, so I just left that bare. And I know that the eyeshadow isn't identical. I didn't have like colors like the ones that he used in a drugstore palette, so this is what I came up with. I mean, it's not perfect, it's not exact, but it's cute, it's bronzy, it's glowy. So that is it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you want me to recreate any other Instagram makeup look or another YouTuber. Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys very soon in my next one. Bye.